Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Big 7 Christmas special. Now, 2021's been a pretty big year for the channel. It's given me an opportunity to interview some of the best and brightest minds in the Final Fantasy VII community. And rather than try to get a new guest for a Christmas special episode, what I figured it'd be fun to do is get everyone back and catch up with them, see how they've been doing throughout the year. And if you've not watched all of the previous episodes of the Big 7 yet, there's a playlist that you can find on the channel. I'll make sure that it's nice and easy for you to find, and you can catch up with each episode. Each episode has got a varying insight, a different opinion, a different mindset, and a different approach to Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake. And there's a lot of information that you can get from each one of them, so, I highly recommend it. Make sure, watch them. But now it's time to settle down, relax, and let's meet all of our previous guests.
What's up, guys? Blttz here today, content creator on YouTube and now Twitch.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Tsuna here.
Greetings, fellow scholars of the livestream. I'm Vyzzuvazzadth from Cosmo Canyon Observatory, and welcome to the Big 7 Christmas special. Yay!
Hi guys, M.J Gallagher here, author of books such as Norse Myths that inspired Final Fantasy VII and the Nibelheim Incident.
Hey guys, it's me, Lully Bunny. I play RPG and indie games on Twitch. Happy holidays!
Hi, I'm the Well Red Mage, writer, author, podcaster, streamer, and critic.
Hi, I'm Hartshorn.
Hey, it's me, Baby Seal. How are you guys?
This is not a spoiler-free discussion. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Hey everybody, this is Sleepezi from the Sleepezi YouTube channel. Hope everyone's having a lovely holiday.
Hey, this is Ray Coffman, Ray Coffman Gaming on YouTube. Here to rock out, Sector 6 Gamer. We'll talk a little Final Fantasy, and y'all enjoy.
Hey guys, what's up? It's FishFriedCat here. I do a lot of funny haha content. I like to talk about Final Fantasy sometimes.
Wait a minute, how are you got in here?
What do you mean? This is my house.
I'm not too sure how that happened, but we'll let him stay. We'll let him stick about. We'll see how he behaves. But let's get to it. So I've got 3 questions that I'm going to ask each of these content creators. It wouldn't be an episode of the Big 7 if I wasn't asking questions. You know how it goes. So let's jump straight into them. The first question is, what has been your favourite thing, or what have been some of your favourite things about 2021 regarding Final Fantasy, and just anything else that you want to talk about?
When it comes to 2021, my favorite thing about this entire year, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but we really did start hitting our stride with content creating in 2020, but we were never really part of the community. I was never a part of social media, conversing with others outside of my YouTube comments, really. In 2021, I decided to start using Twitter more, start using social media more, and I've been able to connect with a lot of great individuals. First off the bat, shout outs to BabySeal, SchrodingersBabySeal. He reached out to me. He asked me to be a part of this event that he had coming up for Final Fantasy in general, and we did a talk show. And from then on, I started to connect with others like Night Sky Prince, Udaleska, Legions Gaming, Philip, Hartshorn. So many different creative individuals that it's just been a pleasure to be a part of. And that's probably my favorite thing about 2021 is being able to not just further our content, but just be more of a force within the community. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun in this community and just getting to meet all kinds of different creators. That's just been the most enjoyable aspect I can honestly say for 2021.
The thing I've enjoyed the most about 2021 regarding Final Fantasy, it's a little difficult for me to really think about because I don't tend to explore an awful lot. I have my thing and I stick with my thing. And I feel like I'd be an ass if I just said my favorite thing was my thing. But I think Intermission came out this year, right? I'm pretty sure Intermission came out this year. And granted, I haven't played it yet, but I got to watch it on YouTube, and it wasn't even just that it came out that was exciting, it was that I got to experience it with my missus. And that was really special to me, because, she's not a gamer, she's not that into Final Fantasy, she just lets me do my thing, she does her thing, but she experienced that with me, and I got some really nice memories from that. And more to come as more parts come out in the future, because she's interested now, so... That was definitely something. But I think when it comes to real life, for anybody that's ever seen me before, you'll notice I'm in a different place to where I was when I started this year. I moved house. I finally got what I'm calling my forever house, the house that I plan to probably die in, you know. And that was a hell of an achievement for me in itself. So, you know, moving house, building an office, I finally feel like an adult, you know. And yeah, that's me for 2021 anyway.
So 2021, I think the best that's come out of it is probably integrated episode intermission. Me being a Final Fantasy VII nerd, basically, you'd say. Other than that, not too much, besides finally getting out all our mystery series. Well, not quite all, there's still 2 episodes missing and then a complete version of Sephiroth versus Cloud. And the ending in Zack is also still pending. But that will be for next year, because this year, no chance. I think that's probably the best, because this year, most of you know, is not quite the best in general in recent history, but Square Enix delivers. And the first Soldier has hit. I don't play it, but for you, many of you out there, probably is also pretty good time, I hope so.
Well, 2021 has been a bit of a mad year for Final Fantasy. Obviously, we've just had Endwalker come out. There's the Strangers of Paradise news. There's the Pixel remasters. All that jazz. First Soldier as well. For me, though, the big one is definitely it was always going to be 7 related, but it's definitely been Intermission. I was so excited in advance for that ever since it was announced. You know, I went out and purposely bought a PlayStation 5 for that to play a DLC, which sounds bananas when you say it out loud. But I thought, you know, even I think we all expected a DLC, and I think most of us expected a Tifa DLC. So when they announced Yuffie, it was just, wow, they're taking it in a different direction. And then they threw in Deep Ground, so the sort of compilation purists were just like, ah. I absolutely loved it. So, you know, when it finally landed, you know, got to sit and play, I had to wait on Intergrade actually loading, so it was like 3 AM here when I finally got it, and yeah, I loved every second of it. It was such a well done DLC, and to be able to revisit characters like Vyse and Nero again, but to do it in such a kind of well structured way was brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was, you know, this has been quite a big year for me anyway. I had my 4th kid born in January of 2021, so it's been amazing having the kids. Obviously, it comes with its own challenges, particularly during lockdown. And kind of later on in the year, finally, you know, off the back of the success of Norse myths that inspired Final Fantasy VII, I ran a Kickstarter campaign for Greek myths that inspired Final Fantasy VII, and the success of that, I still can't come to terms with it. It's you know, it blew me away. So thank you to everyone that did support that. And you know, now that we're coming to the end of 2021, I can sort of reflect on, you know, how amazing but equally challenging at times it has been. But I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I'm so excited about what the future brings for Final Fantasy in general, and you know, for me personally with the book projects. So I'll be moving on with those. I'll be moving on with my Final Fantasy VII remake video series, and yeah, sort of here's to 2022.
I think my favorite thing, for at least as far as Final Fantasy VII's community and fandom and events, like obviously Intermission, Intergrade coming out, that was really awesome. I love to see what they did with Yuffie, but overall, just the way I've met so many great people in the fandom this past year. Like, I mean, as I've stated before, I left the fandom a long time ago due to, you know, the drama. But then I came back recently and I've made some really good friends, really good connections, and it's been really awesome to be able to talk about my favorite game again with people who are just as passionate about it as I am.
So it's been an exciting year for Final Fantasy content. I started playing Final Fantasy 14 again, just tried a demo last year, but really giving it my all this time, playing it on stream and meeting the excellent community there. Excited to get to Endwalker in like 5 years at the rate that I'm going, probably. And also got to beat Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 for the first time. Tried playing Final Fantasy on the NES and couldn't do it. I didn't grow up with it. Too hard. Way too hard for me. So the Pixel Remaster series has been excellent in terms of accessibility and playing through. So it's also been a good year in that I almost died from a COVID pneumonia combo back in April when I was moving from California to Texas. And survived, obviously, here to tell the tale. And got to enjoy games throughout the year like Steel Soul Mode and Hollow Knight. Rebuilding a Chrono Trigger town in SimCity 2000. Metroid Dread was a lot of fun. Played through that like 18 times. So fun. So lots of great experiences this year.
So what I've enjoyed the most in 2021 for Final Fantasy specifically is, I would say, if I had to narrow it down, the music. It is probably the best time to be a Final Fantasy music fan in just the history of FF music. Like, think about it. We have Final Fantasy 1 through 6 music completely, every single song completely redone, fully realized, re-recorded by real musicians, overseen by Nobuo himself. We've got Final Fantasy 7 on top of that, expanded and multiplied and reperformed throughout like multiple games over the course of a decade, probably, like just expanding it so much. We've got we've got 2 different Final Fantasy concert series going on right now. We've got Final Fantasy 7 Remake concert series, which I'm going to in January. I can't wait for that. We've got Distant Worlds coming back. It hasn't been around in a few years, just like non-stop orchestrations, new albums coming out. FF14, Endwalker just came out. We got like hundreds of songs dumped on us and stuff. It's just been absolutely ridiculous. Just as someone who enjoys the art of Final Fantasy in general and the music growing up, like, I never thought there would be a day. I never thought that would happen, where it'd be like Final Fantasy 1 through 6. Grew up listening to these songs. Like, I wonder what these would sound like. You know, I wonder what Nobuo was imagining. And the fact that now it's just, we've got that. He literally went back and like, that's a trumpet. That's strings. That's a piccolo. It's just out of control. So a dream come true as far as the music goes. And just, I would expand that to say, just in general, it's the best time to be a Final Fantasy fan ever. We have, I mean, not even mentioning stuff like Strangers of Paradise, a second FF1 remake next to the Pixel Remaster. Like, absolutely incredible. We've got FF7 Remake, obviously. We've got FF14. We've got all these like other things like Triangle Strategy, just these like kind of offshoots of FF Tactics. It's just nonstop at this point, and I never thought there'd be a day. I really think it is the best time ever, you know, aside from like 1997 before the golden age of 7, 8, 9, 10 and stuff. It's fantastic. So that's been probably my favorite thing going on this year. And probably my other favorite thing from 2021 has just been, as a content creator, getting to know everybody, like obviously on Sector 6 show right here. We've got all these friends that we just made and kind of expanded the larger community, but also, you know, tightened it up. Like, we've all become close, we've all become buddies, and it's so much fun for us. Like I've said before, it's fun for you guys to like watch us individually, but then it's fun for us to interact with each other. You guys get to see that. It's just kind of this like ecosystem of, you know, when a new game comes out, it's like you get several different experiences. You get to see what this person's reaction is, what that person's reaction is, how they talk about it together and stuff. And it's been something that on my side, as far as like the martial arts and stuff that I've done, it's a completely isolated content creating experience. So that just shows, again, there's so much positivity in this community, in a lot of gaming in general, but I would say this FF community has been so awesome. And you got people like Sector 6, people like BabySeal, you know, bringing us all closer together, and it's just a pleasure to be a part of. So that has been probably one of the great joys of this year. Because 2020, I played the game alone, FF7 Remake, and then this year has been like, you know, getting to know the community more, and it's been a joy. It's made the experience a lot better for me.
Well, 2021 has been a largely forgettable year, other than Intergrade came out, and Intergrade was a big upgrade for Remake for me. Not only was Intermission an excellent episode. The actual performance increase from Intergrade made the game infinitely more playable and more fun. In terms of other Final Fantasy stuff, we had the Pixel remasters, which, were great, but it felt very underwhelming overall in the game landscape. But that's to be expected. Everybody's doing their best, starting to recover from the pandemic. Other than that, though, highlight of 2021's definitely going to be, the community that I have started to connect with even at a deeper level this year. The Final Fantasy VII remake community in particular. And then special shout out to Spider-Man No Way Home, which was my probably highlight of the year. So yeah.
I would say in 2021, a lot of good things have happened in general for me, both in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's more of the avenue that Final Fantasy VII Remake has brought in 2021 for me, because a lot of good things have come from that, both socially and personally, and also just entertainment-wise, I would say. I think I would say that the best thing that has happened through that is meeting so many different content creators who are now friends through just this game that I really enjoyed, and having, gotten to know my audience a little bit better, gotten to know other content creators better, and just being exposed to the community, I would say, has been the best thing about 2021 for me. And just all of the positivity surrounding that, and just growing my channel it's always a fun thing for me to see, and to always be pushing. And I feel like 2021 set up for a really, really sweet year in 2022. So that is what I'm the most thankful for. And also just thank you to all of the people in the community, both the audience, friends, and other content creators for making the year, for me, very special.
2021 has been awesome. First, to answer the Final Fantasy stuff, Intergrade was dope. I loved Intergrade. I love playing back through Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS5. It's just gorgeous. Not on my card streaming because it looks like crap, but playing it actually on my console through the television looks really good. So I think 2021's been a great year for JRPGs, honestly, as a whole. Like I'm still trying to finish Tales of Arise. That game is great. I just recently started Shin Megami Tensei 5. The Nocturne remaster came out. It's been a great year for JRPGs. I really think they're getting ready to do something big with the genre. I'm here for it, man. That's my favorite genre. So Final Fantasy, I hope they pack a big lunch in 2022 because these other studios are bringing it. So.
Well, I'm glad you asked. What I enjoyed the most during 2021, the year of our Bunavelse, with Final Fantasy, was Final Fantasy 14. As you all know, the expansion pack for the critically acclaimed MMO Endwalker came out. I barely got to play it, but since we're gonna keep it in spirit with the whole British culture Sector 6 has, I do love me a good queue, so that was a lot of fun. The other thing I loved the most was the Epic Game Store release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, where it wasn't working for me, because guess what? You can't play when Epic Game Store is offline. So that's interesting. It's very interesting. It's a good game, though. But yeah, if you're thinking about playing Final Fantasy XIV, don't. Please, don't, for the love of God. It was already bad enough when all the World of Warcraft people came over, and I can hardly get into it. Every time I get home from work, it's always peak hours, and guess what? I'm always 6,000 in queue. And guess what else? The Era 2002, that's a nightmare. Please, stop. Do not do the free trial. No, don't even think about buying it. Wait.
So for me, the main things that I've enjoyed about 2021, well, probably the main thing, has been breaking out into the community a bit more, getting my name out there and building relationships with some of the people, well, all of the people that you're going to see on the episode tonight. Not just them, but viewers and followers on Twitter and everything like that. It's brilliant interacting with you all and kind of getting to hear and see all the different ideas and the different levels of creativity that everyone's got, because everyone does things in a different way. There are some people that are brilliant artists and things like that I've come to follow on Twitter. There are some people that are just absolutely entertaining on Twitter in general that I've just come to love. So that's probably been one of my favourite things in 2021. I'm really hyped for a remake on PC because it means I'm finally going to get to play Intermission, which I'm looking forward to that. And just the new skills that I've picked up this year, be it like image editing, which I was kind of alright at, but I've got better, I've refined my skills at that. But more importantly, video editing. It's not something that I've ever really done. So it's been fun learning how to do all of that. And streaming as well, you know, starting to get involved with streaming. So yeah, all in all, it's been a brilliant year as far as Final Fantasy and the community and everything like that goes. And yeah, I'm here for more. Now, question 2 is more about the future. Question 2 is, what are you looking forward to in 2022 regarding Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy in general, gaming in general? Like, what is on your radar? What are you looking forward to?
Now, when it comes to 2022, ideally, I do every year. I like to take things a step further, you know, enhance things as far as video content and quality goes, and however far our reach goes. 2020, we started making videos more full-time based, and 2021, we started to connect with the community more. I think in 2022, I want to see me take the community connection a whole nother level, because, you know, conventions are starting to open back up again, and people are beginning to travel. Whereas you couldn't really do it as much last year. So it'd be really cool to meet a lot of the, you know, other content creators and other people within the community at conventions. So I think I will be traveling a lot more in 2022 and just having a chance to really get out there and meet up with you guys and see how everybody is doing and connecting with one another, because that's seriously something that the world was missing last year. And I'm kind of getting an itch myself to get out there and, you know, just get to meet with you guys and have a chat and play games and just have a good time, no matter what the convention is, man. That's what I'm honestly looking forward to the most. Obviously, video games releasing and stuff like Stranger of Paradise, Chaos Simulator and stuff. But more or less, I think that I want to be more community centric going forward and being a more so of a positive force than what we already are. I mean, we already do really well within the community. I love it. Love you guys. We have such a great time together. But I want to see where we can take those heights, where we can take those levels to newer heights next year. And I think 2022 is a great opportunity to start doing that.
So 2022, I think. Now, I don't necessarily want to give kind of the same answer as before. Like I mentioned, I'm excited for 2022, more remake parts, essentially, or information, and experiencing that with my missus. But I don't want to go through that same answer because I feel like that's a little boring. But I do hope that even if we just see something more from the remake, part 2, or more DLC, whatever it might be, FF16 coming out, that's going to be pretty hype. I'm also hoping that First Soldier comes to PC as a proper graphical, full-fledged battle royale. That I would be into. And this time I will go ahead and say I'm excited to see my own progress and what I do with the original Final Fantasy VII over the next year, as well as you've all been everywhere at this time of this recording, modding FF7 Remake. What's going to happen with it? Everybody's excited, and, you know, I'm the guy, so we'll see where that leads anyway. But yeah, I'm excited to see what I can give to everybody in return for what they're all doing for me, and look forward to seeing you use the stuff that I make. That's the moment that I'm always looking for, so cheers to that.
Oh, next year. There's a lot. First of all, I really look forward to finally finishing the Final Fantasy VII Remake Mystery Series we've got on our YouTube channel on Cosmic Canyon Observatory. But besides that, there's Final Fantasy 16, there's Horizon Forbidden West, the second one. Hopefully at some point, God of War Ragnarok, and all the other games that are due next year. There's a lot. Ever Crisis. So looking forward to that game, really much. Otherwise, I don't really know. It's just business as usual. Besides that, it's always hard to, what are you looking forward to most? Well, this isn't that, and that's it, basically.
So for 2022, I think what I'm most excited about is some more remake news. When the information came out for Ever Crisis and the First Soldier, we knew that the First Soldier was going to be dropping towards the end of 2021. As of the time of recording, I've not actually played it. I've downloaded it on my phone, but I've just not had the time to pick it up. So I'll definitely be delving into that as soon as I possibly can. I'm quite intrigued about Ever Crisis, particularly the First Soldier story elements of that. I'm really looking forward to getting a bit more out of the lore that Najima has written. And just to see where that takes us and see how it ties into remake and whatnot, and fingers crossed we get a meaty bit of sort of remake part 2 information. Towards the second half of 2022, I'll be releasing my next book, Greek Myths, that inspired Final Fantasy VII. So with a bit of luck, it'll sort of land as successfully as the Norse Myths one did. It's been an amazing journey for me to sort of start as a fan fiction writer and progress through a variety of different things to finally get to the point where I'm making a little bit of money off of my passion, and the fact that there's an audience there and they're willing to listen to what I've got to say is, I can't express my gratitude enough for that. And finally, one of the really big things I'm looking forward to is being able to return to conventions, particularly the KupoCon conventions. So the first one of 2022 is due to be hosted in London in the first weekend of February. So fingers crossed that lockdown doesn't hit for that. But I'm really excited both to be back amongst friends, but just to be in a sort of Final Fantasy environment again. Speaking with people who were all there because we share the love for Final Fantasy, and to get to see John Bentley again, and this time meet Brianna White, among other Final Fantasy 14 guests. So it's 2022 so far is shaping up to be pretty good. So yeah, looking forward to it. And at some point I'll probably be fighting FishFriedCat.
Oi, mate, what'd you say about me, mate? You want to fight?
When it comes to Final Fantasy VII, what I'm most excited for is, one, to see them mods for PC, because that's going to be a riot, and I cannot wait. And two, any little piece of information we can get on part 2. As for Final Fantasy as a whole, I am so excited to get more information on Final Fantasy 16. I can't wait to hear more about that. We were supposed to hear more by the end of this year, but it's starting to look like that probably won't happen. So I'm hoping beginning or early next year, we're going to hear more about 16.
So in 2022, absolutely looking forward to the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster, the best numerical Final Fantasy, let me say. And just today, even before recording this, there were some scans that came out of Famitsu that showed that we might be getting on Octopath Traveler-ish looking scene from Final Fantasy VI. I don't know if you've heard this, but you need to go look it up right now. Another thing that I'm looking forward to in 2022 is trying to get through my backlog, really trying to complete my Super Nintendo collection and just play through all of those games. So I actually did up a whole list of logos and all these images that represent the games that I want to play. There's no way I'm going to finish them all, but having goals is, I think, excellent. So playing more games, learning more about how to do this whole streaming content creation type thing, and just leaning into it and making new friends, like Sector 6.
So for 2022, I would say what I'm looking forward to most is Final Fantasy 16. Probably coming out that year. We're not positive, but there's a heavy chance of it. And I would say just kind of this experience that we're getting so much. we're so used to being like starved as FF fans, and now it's like we're getting so much. Like in my head, I'm like, how am I gonna play all this? We got Strangers of Paradise, we got all this other stuff come out. I'm like, am I gonna be every single pixel remaster? Like I'm still like trying to finish 5 and 4 at the same time. We got 6 coming out. It's just like 6 might actually be 2022. But yeah, it's just been such a pleasure to have this much content to, like I said before, to share with everybody and to enjoy. And I would say I look forward to getting to see, a big pleasure for me again has been somebody who's been in this game for a little bit, like a couple of years. It's been cool to see new content creators pop up like Sector 6 and start making content and kind of like entering to the thing, because that's what I want to see more of. And what I'm looking forward to is people realizing that there is always room for more. Like your voice should be heard. You should get in here. You should let us know what you're thinking. If you got a cool idea, don't be like, I don't really have the best camera. I don't have some fancy lights or something. Like, it's completely irrelevant. Just get on your phone or something, you know, make a cool video, share your thoughts. What do you think of a scene? What do you think of music? What do you think of Tifa? You know, tell us what you think, Sephiroth, whatever. And just let your voice be heard. And that's something I'm looking forward to, is more people entering into the space. And like I said before, I've seen so much welcoming energy now, which is, again, something I'm not used to at all. In martial arts, it's the opposite. So it's so cool. Like even my girlfriend Aaliyah recently has kind of been with her cosplay entered into the FF community, and she had a couple of viral cosplays as like female Barrett and male Tifa for me, and everybody's been super welcoming. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more people being like, oh, okay, it's okay to let my voice be heard and to kind of share what I've been thinking. But yeah, just do it. Join us.
Well, let's see. 2022 is already shaping up to be pretty exciting. I'm a big Soulsborne fan, so I've got 2 things to satiate my Soulsborne need. One is Elden Ring, which looks phenomenal, just phenomenal. Then, and then just like a month later, we have a Final Fantasy Soulsborne game, which is also looking way better. Every little bit that they release for that makes it seem like less of a joke, and that's Stranger of Paradise. I am excited for that. I have a trepidatious excitement for Forspoken, and then I've got a big giant question mark / excitement / fear surrounding Final Fantasy 16, which has this kind of threat of releasing next year, but we actually don't know. We know very little about it. So I'm hoping that we see something. Next year is also the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. So I'm expecting something major regarding Final Fantasy VII, and I don't know if that's going to come in the form of Ever Crisis, or we're going to get something really concrete remake related, like maybe even a end of year release, or we'll definitely get a trailer of some kind next year. I'm confident. But what that actually looks like for the overall compilation remains to be seen. But whatever it is, I'm excited for it, because I don't think that they can get away with doing nothing.
What I'm looking forward to most in 2022 is growing the community around me, being more involved in the community for Final Fantasy VII, and just getting really hyped for everything coming down the line, whether that's Ever Crisis, hopefully soon, not at the end of 2022. That would be great. And I would say some Final Fantasy VII remake news would be really nice, but probably some 16. We got Elden Ring coming up. That's going to be super exciting. But yeah, just getting excited for all the things creatively to come too.
2022, I'm looking for our first glimpse of Final Fantasy VII Remake, sequel, whatever that is. What do you call it, Part 2, or you call it whatever they're going to call it. A lot of people are saying it's going to be like Reunion or something like that, which I think that could be a good name for it. Final Fantasy 16, I think this game's got to come out in 2022. I am beyond done waiting for this game. I'm patient. I want them to take their time and do a great job, but I'm ready to experience what this thing is, and most of all, what the story is. I think the story looks excellent. It's a revenge story. I don't think they tackle that a lot as far as like a main theme for a game in their mainline games. So this could have like a Final Fantasy meets the Punisher kind of aspect to it. And I think that could be not in like a weird Stranger of Paradise kind of way, not like a Limp Bizkit Trucker Hat kind of way. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that. And I think Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered, bring it. Let's do it, Square Enix. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm getting a little hot under the collar thinking about Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster over here. So 2022, baby, let's knock it out. Let's go.
What I'm looking forward to most in the year 2022, which might be confused with a sequel to 2020, is hopefully. So I noticed Creative Business Unit 3. It's been over a year since you said you would give us news on Final Fantasy 16, and you have not. So I'm running out of hope that that game's coming out. So now, by default, I have to assume that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is coming out. And I guess that's what I'm looking forward to. Unless you want to surprise me with something, maybe like a new Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm. You know, that would be nice. Just sneak stealth release that one. I won't complain. You have a whole ass arcade machine that you never brought over to the US. Square.
2022, man. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to, so I'll try and be brief with each one. I mean, first off, Final Fantasy 16, massive hype for Final Fantasy 16. We should realistically be hearing something about it very soon. I'm quite hopeful for, you know, any kind of news we can get. And from what they've said, 16 should come quite soon after the next bit of information we get. So, yeah, really hyped for that. It looks like it could be a new direction for Final Fantasy or a refinement of the current direction. Remake has obviously refined that massively, and we could see a different approach to that from Yoshida and Business Unit 3, so yeah, all up for that. We got Stranger of Paradise, which, I don't know, it keeps looking better each time I see it. Each time they release a trailer or something, it kind of improves a little bit, but I can't shake the feeling it's going to be a meme, or there's going to be a lot of meme potential in the game. It's going to be weird, but I'm down for weird stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. Ever Crisis, that's definitely going to be dropping next year, and that's going to be real fun to finally get our hands on Before Crisis and things like that. 100% looking forward to that. And Advent Children in a game. I don't know how that's going to work. Looking forward to seeing how they do it. On top of that, I think we should get some Remake Part 2 news. I'm very much doubtful. I've got a big feeling January is going to be the one. It's more likely Ever Crisis will probably get a solid release date in January, you know, around the anniversary of Final Fantasy VII, the 25th anniversary, so it's January 31st, I think it is. And then outside of Final Fantasy, just gaming in general, there's some absolute bangers on the horizon, like Elden Ring. I'm really looking forward to trying that out. And Bleach. Bleach is coming back. The anime is coming back. Come on, man, Bleach. But on top of all that, just everything that I said in question 1, I'm looking forward to more of that over the course of the year. So many more creators that I can get on and have a conversation with about Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to try and put a bit more of a focus on streamers as well, because I've kind of only stuck to YouTube content creators for the most part at the minute. So yeah, I'm going to look at trying to mix that up. And I'm going to try and shoot for some of the bigger boys, you know, the ones that have got bigger followings. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to do everything that I can to get the best guests on this show in 2022. And the final question, here we are. I'm not going into massive 5-hour epics here. That's not happening this time. No, you get more of them next year. Final question is, what have you got coming up in 2022? So as a creator, as someone who puts content out there for people, what have you got upcoming in 2022?
So in 2022, the channel, like I said, will be taking a dive into newer heights. We're going to be making more Final Fantasy 14 content. Final Fantasy 14 was a long time game of mine that I've been playing for years and years, and to see the amount of love and, you know, shout outs it's getting right now, it's really great to see that such a deserving like franchise receive. So I definitely will be making more Final Fantasy 14 content. As far as like guides goes, the same formula. You guys know what to expect, how to play this, how to get better at this class, the best in slot armor equipments, materia melding and all that stuff. And also, of course, boss guides to help you guys enjoy and stop getting your cheeks clapped on raid instances and then getting kicked from the party. But overall, I think more Final Fantasy 14 stuff will definitely be on the channel. We got Ever Crisis dropping sometime early next year. That'll be a big focus as well, which is Final Fantasy VII's entire compilation redone and brought over to the mobile side of things, which I'm hella excited for, as I know a lot of you guys are as well. And I mean, if you don't know already, Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier is out. It's a free-to-play MOBA game on mobile devices, iOS and Android. I've been having a lot of fun playing that game. We've been playing with community members. We've been playing with other content creators. And I think next year, I definitely will be making that game just a regular mainstay on the channel. We'll be uploading highlight videos nonstop for you guys to enjoy and just having a blast playing it with everybody. Content creators, more people in the community, and even hosting events. I also want to host tournaments for the First Soldier and use our ambassadorship within the game to try to get more people out there and to enjoy it in a lot of different ways.
So something that I'm going to be, and you can use this as evidence against me in the future. I'm going to use this as my own motivational thing, because if I don't do this, then I've technically lied, and you can use that against me. But I want at least Disc 1 of EchoS completed and released to the public. EchoS being my voice-acted mod for FF7 OG. As well as that, I would like to have a playable demo of some kind for EchoS 8 to be out as well. We've got a full year to do that. It seems doable. I've got plenty of experience doing it now, loads of practice, and, the voice actors, we've already got them all, and, we don't have to go through all the crap of learning and hiring people. They are things that I would absolutely love to happen, and Tsuna for partner on Twitch 2022, that's going to be a thing. We're making that a thing. And future Tsuna, if you look back at this video right now and you haven't done these things, then you.
There are some plans. First of all, finishing up everything that's planned in the pipeline right now. But I always wanted to continue the series Game Talk, of which there's only one episode out now. That's the first one I did for Final Fantasy VII Remake. But for several reasons, I just didn't continue, but I have a few ideas. But I'll keep them for myself. But what I can say is I really want to talk about why 4 parts for Final Fantasy VII Remake in total, and where to split and why, and all the good stuff that you're expecting from Cosmic Canyon Observatory.
So this year I'll be tying up my Final Fantasy VII Remake video series. So that's been well over a year I've been working on that. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's obviously coming towards the end of it, dropping just in time for the PC version of Remake. As I mentioned, I anticipate that Greek myths that inspired Final Fantasy VII will be out in the second half of the year. I don't have a particular date or even month for that just yet. But some of the things that I've got, I'm so excited to share with everyone. I've got another couple of things up my sleeve as well.
So for 2022, I'm still working on that Final Fantasy VII lore deep dive series that I really want to do. It's just taking me some time because writing scripts takes a lot of work, and especially when you're working with another person. I have a friend of mine who I no longer am living with because, life, it's time to move on. I moved in with my boyfriend. So it's trying to set up a time to meet with her. That's why the second episode is taking so long, but Final Fantasy VII Lore Deep Dive, Episode 2, and my goal is to have 5 episodes in total by the end of 2022. And I'm going to play some more video games on Twitch. That's pretty much the goal.
So in 2022, I'm going to be focusing a lot on my website after recently having done a rebrand. Our website is thepixels.com, the-pixels.com. So we're going to focus a lot more on optimization, really getting that website running. I'm in over my head when it comes to that stuff, but I still do believe that we could really use deep dive critiques in the gaming world. The things that happen in the gray areas between it's a dumpster fire and it's 11 out of 10 game of the year. The middle ground, if you will, of studying these games as art pieces. Also going to be doing more episodes of MageCast podcast, hopefully once again with our own Sector 6 down the road. But a couple of early episodes that are going to be popping up. We're going to do Metroid Dread, hopefully GoldenEye 007 from the N64, a 4-player podcast, talking about Mortal Kombat, Legend of Mana, Ocarina of Time, Hades, hopefully, Snake Eater, Final Fantasy IV, River City Girls 2. So there'll be a lot coming, a lot of mix of things. I'm a red mage, so I'm not good at one thing, but I like to do a mix of things. There's also going to be the streams still going. Looking forward to building more of that, doing more giveaways on into the new year. That's every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central. We've been giving away a lot of cool stuff. You know, we've got some Neo Geo mini thing that we gave away. We got super retro cades that we've been giving away a Dreamcast, giving away some sealed physical games for NES, Super Nintendo, that sort of thing. So come on out. There's a lot to talk about.
The ones I can talk about is I've got my last footage that I shot from the Shaolin Temple in China when I was training there. It's a short film that is a action film, and it's a lot of fun, and it was incredibly rushed, but it's very good. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. Like, I'm very proud of it, and I got to actually film with the master warrior monks of the Shaolin Temple, and I fought against them in this action scene, all three of them, and it is absolutely insane.
We get to see Phil get beaten up.
Yeah. So the good news is, if you don't like me, which I do have some enemies, you're gonna enjoy that. You're gonna love it. It's just me getting beat up for like 40 minutes probably. please, yeah. So enjoy it. It's fun for the whole family. You know, if you don't like me, if you like me, no, but it's gonna be great. And yeah, you know how I always talk about shots and whatnot in FF7 remake and scene construction and everything, and you'll be able to see some of the scenes I've been able to put together and kind of my eye with the camera and what goes through my head. So it'll be a lot of fun. As you guys know, I teach filmmaking on my gaming channel through like analyzing cutscenes in video games and everything. So that's gonna be fun to share with you guys. And beyond that, I am getting more into voice acting, which that's all I can say for now. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. So you got some stuff to look forward to. More cosplay. As I was saying, me and Aaliyah have had a couple of cosplay blow up, which has been super fun. I never thought it would do that well, so that was really good. And let me think. Beyond that, just more games. Yeah, I want to, that FF6 Pixel Remaster soundtrack. Oof, I'm looking forward to that. That's for sure. And yeah, beyond that, just more interaction with great people. And like I said before, hearing more voices. I just love this past year. So many new people showed up and were able to kind of share their personal stories with the games, what it means to them. And it's just good to have more, more people in the game, more heads in the game, more ideas come out, and everybody wins, I think, personally. So let's get more of that.
It's going to be SEAL Team 7 and then gaming, but the gaming lineup's going to be more exciting this year, I think, because I think we've got full playthroughs of new games instead of just DLC. So we're going to be doing full playthroughs of Elden Ring, doing full playthroughs of Stranger Paradise, full playthroughs of Forspoken, and that's just in the first 6 months. So I'm excited for, and all of those games are very lore heavy with Norse mythology and with the mythology of Final Fantasy in general. Elden Ring obviously is a R.R. Martin, so it's going to have its own mythology, but it's going to generally tie into classic mythology tropes. So there's a lot to unpack in all those games. Freya is of course the titular character for Forspoken, and that alone is a reference. And then as I've looked through the trailer and stuff like that, I can see that most of the monsters are in fact Norse monsters. So, the Draugr and stuff like that. So it's looking like, as somebody that's got a mythology and religion focused channel, there's a lot to feast upon just in the first 5 months of the year.
Things that we're going to be doing in 2022, I'm excited about a lot. I think growing the channel and maybe even going outside of Final Fantasy VII a bit is what we're kind of aiming to do with the new year. Obviously, we're going to keep talking about Final Fantasy VII. There's always a place for that here, but I think that there's just a lot on the horizon of what is to come and a lot of other series to inspect with the fine-tooth comb. So if anyone's expecting anything from me, that is what you should be looking out for. Maybe some Loveless in the more near future for Final Fantasy VII. So that's, yeah, which obviously everybody loves and definitely wants me to talk about. So
we're launching a production studio for animation and some other projects we're wanting to do. I've got my hands in a lot of projects. Of course, we'll be keeping up with the YouTube channel. I got some different shows and bits that I want to do. I want to branch out a little bit and do some scripted stuff on YouTube. This still revolves around gaming, the community, and all that kind of stuff. So we got some things we're writing. I'm working with some industry professionals who are really cool. We're collaborating really well on some things. So just a lot happening, and a lot of gaming happening in 2022. Hopefully good gaming. So we'll see. 2021's going out with a bang with Record of Lodos War. That game is amazing. So I love it. Hopefully 2022 is going to bring it even harder. So let's see. I'm ready.
Let's see what I'm doing in 2022. As everyone who follows me knows, I have the most consistent schedule. I upload weekly sometimes, but have other things planned. I have interviews. I might even interview Sector 6 one day. I don't know. We'll see how the numbers do, but I'm going to wait for him to get more popular off the Big 7 first. And then whatever comes to my pea-sized brain, I'm going to do it. Because you know what? I need to get out of this job I actually have and do this full time, or else I'm going to...
So for me, 2022, like I say, it's going to be very much more of the same. I'm going to be shooting for more guests on the Big 7. I'm going to be doing more of the character deep dives and the analysis videos that I'm doing where I try and predict the future of their character arc in Final Fantasy VII Remake based on what's already been in Final Fantasy VII Compilation. Definitely going to be picking up on Twitch a lot more. I'm going to try and get a schedule in place, you know, that sort of thing, a routine. Definitely going to be doing more of the game shows on Twitch. Check out the video for the preview of that I did the other week. It's going to be fun. I'm going to try and get something done for in between Christmas and New Year if I can. It is a bit of an uptake, and I've got a couple of videos for the YouTube that I need to put together, but I'm going to try and do that, and that's going to be an ongoing thing in 2022, 100%. And yeah, just I'm going to try and bring a bit more variety to streaming on Twitch. The YouTube channel, that's going to stay pretty solidly Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy for a very long time. Twitch, I feel like I can be a bit more expansive with what type of games I play. What type of content I put out there. So that's going to be something. But you know me, you're going to find a lot of Final Fantasy on there if you come anyway. Like at the minute, I've got a Final Fantasy 1 playthrough and a Final Fantasy 7 Remake playthrough going. So yeah, you know what? You know what I am. You know who I am. You know what I'm going to be doing. Well, that's it. That is the end of the first year of the Big 7. We hope that you've enjoyed seeing all of us chat and get together and have these conversations, go on tangents, you know, just generally prat around like we have done in most of these videos. It has been such a fun time recording it. Some of the conversations that I've had off camera before we've even started recording and after we've recorded have been amazing as well. And I'm just looking forward to bringing more episodes to you. Any opportunity I can, I'm going to get these guys and girls back. We're going to get the band back together, but this is it for Final Fantasy VII, the Big 7 in 2021. And yeah, just a massive thank you to everybody watching. Now, don't forget, keep an eye out till the very end of the video, because there is like I said earlier, a hint about who, well, it's not even a hint really, a hint about who's going to be the first guest of 2022. So keep an eye out for that. I think there's only one more thing left for us to do, and that's for all of us to wish all of you
Everybody.
Isn't something working? It's ruined the whole finish to the episode for me. It's just not.